going to say nuggets from Nana. So if you go to the hospital and you're having like right calf pain, if one of your legs is swollen, if you're having shortness of breath, or even if like you're having a hard time catching your breath and your heart rate is tripled, you have indigestion, right arm pain, left arm pain, pain radiating from your jaw, just know that there's several things that they're going to do. They're going to do a blood test. They're going to check your platelets, your red blood cells, check your clotting time. They're going to do a D-dimer. And you don't have to know what the tests stand for. This is what they're going to do. They're going to do, they're going to check your platelets. They're going to do a D-dimer. They might do a venous ultrasound. They might do a Doppler. They might do a VQ scan, chest x-ray, or even a chest CT with contrast or without contrast. For the grandkids that's allergic to shellfish, make sure you tell them that you're allergic to shellfish, because they have to medicate you if they use the dye. Being allergic to shellfish does not automatically equate to not having a test done, but a lot of times they medicate you, and sometimes with Benadryl and prednisone or steroids, and then they'll do the test. So just remember, being allergic to shellfish does not equate to you not having the test done at all. And then I want you to remember that none of these tests are painful. But with our history, you know, honestly, being a woman, but in our history tacked on to that, just know that, you know, be verbal about your history. EKG also. So in 2004, when I had my PE diagnosed, they used the EKG, they used a D-dimer, and the chest x-ray. My D-dimer was positive. My chest x-ray was abnormal, and EKG was abnormal, and chest CT showed more blood clots in the right lungs than the left, and too numerous for them to count. And I give all glory to God on that one, because normally it just takes one little tiny one to take you out. And mind you, I'm telling you, this is how God works. I was in Richmond, Virginia, and prior to me taking on a job as a traveling nurse, I went to the pharmacy, and the pharmacist gave me a nugget. He said, remember, he said, be aware, if you ever take aspirin with this medication, he said it'll cause your blood to be a little bit thinner and you'll have a lot of bruising. He said somehow the my acetazolamide, it potentiate or enhanced the aspirin. And so when I woke up, and this is why I'm not a Ben Crump case. You know, Ben Crump was probably in law school back then, but when I woke up, my heart rate, and normally, like I said, it was 38 to 44. I woke up and I just couldn't catch my breath. So here we have a sudden onset of shortness of breath. And my heart rate, which normally was 44, and I'm just lying down or asleep, we checked my pulse and it was like 138. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart is tripled. And I was like, I don't have any chest pain. I didn't have any calf pain. And I was like, oh my God, I think I've, thrown a blood clot. So we called an ambulance. I go to the emergency room, and they tell me, well, we're sorry, but your chest CT is negative. So the normal D-dimer at that hospital, I think, was 3 to 4, and mine was 4.58. So they said, even though whatever it was, my D-dimer was like a 0.58 higher than the normal range. And they said your D-dimer is slightly elevated. You're tachycardic. You do have some shortness of breath. However, your oxygenation oxygenation is 98% on room air. And he said, your EKG is normal, your chest x-ray is negative. He said my CT scan was negative. And I was like, I can't catch my breath. So they said, well, everything's negative. They said, oh, it's anxiety. You might want to just go home and relax. I'm like, anxiety? I done dealt with my daddy's death. I done dealt with kids running off and having to go find them with the police. And I ain't never been able to not catch my breath. So again, all right, I said, okay. So next day, a week later, I go back to the emergency room in an ambulance. I'm really short of breath at this time. I'm having chest pain now. And believe it or not, I go to a hospital, ER on Monday, ER on Tuesday, ER on Wednesday. I went to Chippenham, Johnston Willis, MCV, the one in Midlothian, St. Francis. So I went to 4 different hospitals, complaining of chest pain, shortness of breath, heart rate being triple what my baseline was, chest pain, shortness of breath, and a tachycardia, basically. And everybody kept telling me my tests are negative. Chest CT is negative. And so so when the last visit in the hospital, I said, Leela, it was with Leela Gregg. I've been like 4 or 5 hospitals in the area. I said, Leela, we've been to every hospital. I said, I think it's because I'm black, but they're not going to treat me from these blood, and I got a blood clot, Leela. I said, Leela, go to the store and give me some aspirin. She said, Mom, why? I said, because the pharmacist said if I take aspirin, and I'm on my Diamox or acetazolamide, it will make my blood a little bit thinner. Now, I normally don't like treating myself, but I've been to hospital. I'm talking just round in circles. Every other day, I'm in an ambulance going to the hospital. So, mind you, I went to physical therapy, and my physical therapist said, I'm afraid to touch you. You look like death warmed over. I had 4 syncopal episodes because it all advanced. It just kept progressing. I had 4 syncopal episodes. And when I walked into my kid's school, and as the Lord was driving the car, I got to tell you, I don't know why, I passed out like 4 times. I remember just coming to, not even knowing I wasn't dizzy, I was just out. Then I just wake up. And the card was given to me by Pastor Cato Harris. God looked out for me, y'all. And as I was sitting there going through all of this, and my daughter Leela went and got me aspirin. I remember I was on aspirin for 2 weeks. When I had 4 syncopal episodes, I walked into my kid's school. I'm like, I don't feel good. Now, mind you, I've been to physical therapy, and the physical therapist said, you look like death warmed over the day before. When I went to go pick up my kids, I've been to see my doctor, Dr. Bonner. And I said, I can't breathe when I lay on my left side. And I'm having a hard time breathing on my left side, but it's easier to breathe on my... I said, I can't breathe when I lay on my right side. And I said, I'm having a hard time breathing. And I said, I can breathe, but it's still difficult when I lay on my left side. And my doctor said to me, no lie, well, lay on your left side then. In the progress notes, he put home in Iowa. So I said, okay. I always say this because I said, people say, how do you get from point A to point B? I said, when people want to get rid of you, they don't care if they getting rid of you in a box, through firing, underground, long as you out the way, they don't want to get rid of you, out the way. And I kept saying, again, why did this person, I said, send me home to die? And I'll tell you why I say that. I walked into Midlothian High School after the 4 syncopal episodes. I went to go see my doctor. Told him I had trouble breathing on the right then left. He said, lay on the left side there. Then I went to go to my daughter's high school, pick her up because she just got her driver's license. So I passed out 4 times on the way. When I walked